guys. What is going on? What is for dinner tonight for all of you? Welcome to the Motherhustlin Minute. Kareen Mills here, your chief mother hustler. I just want to say hello to everybody. Dinner tonight for me is we made some spaghetti with shrimp and red sauce. That's what's for dinner. And I want to talk about some other stuff before I get in and eat my dinner. I just want to talk about some of the things that I write on my journal. Hey Sharon, what's up girl? So I have this journal, and I don't know if some of you have a journal, but I write everything on my journal. And by the way, I am in my husband's space in the garage. Hey Megan, I'm gonna make sure I say hello to everybody tonight, but I want to talk about a journal and writing down your goals, and it really works because the things that are happening to me right now, like my podcast, I wrote a book, I run a networking group. A lot of these things that's happened to me were the things that I wrote here, and I started writing it 3 years ago. If you would have asked me if I could host a podcast, I would have told you you are freaking crazy. Or if I could have an online school, or everything that I'm doing right now, or I could speak on stage, I would have told you you're freaking crazy. But a lot of those things, and I talk about this in my book, The Sixth Sense, is I've developed like a really more focused way to use my senses, and I put that in the book. But a lot of the things that's happening to me right now has been some of the things that I wrote in my book. And I want you to remember this. Because I know when I started this habit of writing down my goals every day, and you're going to get there, there's something to be said about thinking it, writing it, and just showing up. For some reason, those answers are going to show up that will lead you to the goals that you write down on your journal. So I want you to remember that don't put all your eggs in one basket. When I say that, I mean be crazy and hairy about the things that you write on your journal as your goals. So I have 5 goals at a time that I write on my journal every single day when I wake up. When I wake up, my routine goes like this. I meditate as soon as I wake up. I don't do anything. I don't go get coffee. I don't drink coffee. I do drink water, and then I go straight into meditation mode. And then sometimes I meditate, just depends on the time, 5 minutes, but really, really just like breathing and deep thinking. And then the next thing is I have this book by Joyce Myers called Love Out Loud, and it's a daily devotion where I can read a devotion every day. And it is based on verses off the Bible. It's more fun to read than the Bible, but it is based on the Bible verses. So every day she picks a verse, and then she explains loudly what that verse sounds like. And I actually posted on what it means to her, so she can speak English to us. But I actually post the daily devotion every single day on my Instagram story, so that my audience can also see what I read every day before I actually start my day. And then after that, I lay on my yoga mat and I stretch for about 20 minutes. So I know some of you might be thinking, like, how do you find time for that? But guys, you find time by making time. You find time by waking up earlier in your day. So if you normally wake up at 6 a.m., maybe it's time, if you want to do what I'm doing, because it allows you to really set the tone of your day. maybe you should wake up 30 minutes earlier, or maybe 15 minutes earlier, and you don't always have to do the whole thing that I do, but you can do it in, like, you add it one at a time in your life. So one of the things that I do after the devotion, I write on my journal. And this journal is really cool because in every page of my journal, it has these really cool, just like a motivational page. And then you turn it on the next page and there's another motivational page. And this is actually my journal for the whole entire year, and I've got so many things I wrote on there. But every day I write down my goals, and I never miss. I always write it down because for some reason it shows up down the road without even really trying. It's so hard to explain, but I kid you not if you do it. So I want to share, and my 5 goals that I write every day has evolved over time. And I used to write, the 5 goals that I used to write was very specific to my business, Legal Shield, my day-to-day practice. This is my day business that I practice in my insurance profession. Is we specialize in legal services and identity theft protection in my insurance practice. And so I used to focus on just what I want to achieve within my business. But since I joined a outside mastermind group, I have learned to really be hairy, scary, and really think out loud about my goals and go beyond just the business that I'm currently in, and not really try to put my eggs in one basket. So these things have evolved, and a lot of the things that are happening to me have been the things that I've been writing down for the last 3 years, and they finally are happening to me. So what I'm writing down every day has changed. And so I want to share this with you. Number 1, I want to be the top 100 podcast in the entire world. I want to be in the top 100. So again, your goal that you write every day has to be almost impossible. It can't be just, I want to make $10,000 a month or $20,000. What do you become by going through that journey? I want to be a millionaire. Okay, it's not about making the million. It's about who are you becoming towards that million, because you have to become that specific person in order for you to deserve that. So who are you going to become to deserve that $1 million? It's not about the money. This is why they say it's not about the money. Who are you going to become? So I want to become the top 100 podcast in the whole entire world. That's number 1. Number 2, I want to do podcast tours and meetups in our, I say our because my husband and I have this dream to travel the country in our Sprinter van. And we want to do podcast tours and meetups around the country, and then globally down the road. So I write that down. It's very much, it sounds so much more impossible, but I kid you not, I would not have thought of myself being a podcast host today. I wouldn't even think that I'm worth it. And there's a lot of self-negative talks that we do as women, and that we're not worth all these things, but I'm here to tell you that you're worth it, that you can do the things that you thought you couldn't. Number 3, become a New York Times bestseller. So I wrote this book, The Sixth Sense, How Ordinary People Can Transform into Extraordinary Entrepreneur. But that was a really quick booklet. It wasn't like a real book where I got a real deal from a real publisher. I self-published it. I went through the journey for 28 days, and I got out a book that's really such a cool tool for people that want to transform their lives in the most simplistic way. It's such a really simple concept that I put together in that book, yet often overlooked. Again, my book, The Sixth Sense, is a very easy concept, but it's often overlooked. And here's why. We go through our day without even noticing the trees, without noticing people's smiles. without even noticing that there's something like, so I'm in my garage right now without even noticing that there's actually a fridge in my garage, you know, because we go so fast. And so I put this book together to be able to really hone in and optimize. It's called Optimizing your five senses, your sense of taste, hearing, vision, smell, and your touch. And then through optimizing those five senses, it allows you to create this sixth sense. Like, I was having coffee with Sharon Nelson today, and Sharon's here watching this live. But the way that she described this, when she was a little girl, she's been called to do these specific thing, and it keeps flagging her and say, I'm still here, do this. And because we go so fast, and if all we do is just take a pause, listen, feel, look, you know, use your visual, smell, taste how it feels when you get there, I promise you the calling becomes more solid, and the calling becomes louder and louder, because you have to be very quiet to listen to those voices, to listen to those whispers. It is in the whispers, guys, that you will hear your calling. It's not in the noise, the loud noise. So optimize those senses. The number 4 that I want, and that is on my goal, is to be able to interview. I want to smile about this before I say it, because it sounds so impossible, and I love it that I write it every day, to interview Jessica Alba for my Mother Hustler podcast. I don't know Jessica Alba. I love her. I don't know anybody that knows her that could lead me to her to interview her on my podcast. But I know for a fact, and I follow her on Instagram, that she is a mother hustler, and that I deserve. Own it, girlfriends and men and women. Own your space. I deserve to interview Jessica Alba. And then the 5th one, because I have so many goals, but I feel like if I achieve these 5 goals, I'm going to achieve other goals. My 5th goal is to interview on my Mother Hustler podcast Spanx founder Sarah Blakely. Those 2 mother hustlers are like my favorite mother hustlers that I so want to interview on my podcast. So those are the 5 things. 1, top 100 podcasts worldwide. I want to have podcast tours around the nation first, and then globally. And then number 3 is I want to become a New York Times bestseller. And then number 4, I want to interview Jessica Alba for Mother Hustler podcast. And then number 5, I want to interview Spanx founder Sarah Blakely for the Mother Hustler podcast. So that's it for the Motherhustlin Minute tonight. And I want to say hello to everybody. And if you made a comment, I'm gonna respond to you after I get off this. Actually, after I eat my dinner, because I haven't eaten my dinner yet. But for those of you that just got here, please run through the replay and comment in the comment section that you're watching the replay. And I appreciate you for being here. I've got Mark. Hey, Mark. Sarah says, I love your blouse. Thanks, Sarah. Stephanie. Theo says, how's your son doing? He's actually in pain, Theo, but he's taking meds and he's doing really, really good and just recovering. Didn't go to school today, won't go to school tomorrow. He wanted to go to school, but Mother Hustler over here said no. Let's see. Dawn. Hey, Dawn. Sarah says, love your blouse. Thanks, Sarah. Mark, Charlene. John Lyons. Hey, John. Theo says, love all your goals. I feel it happened for you soon. Aw, thanks, girl. Rowan, Michael, Wendell, Chelsea, Sherry, hey Sherry, Mart, Amy, Ronnie, Lori, Joffrey, let's see, Shelly, Chad. Hey Chad, good luck on your speech in New York. What, this weekend? Dana, Juvie, Willie, Barry, Charles, Brian, Rick, Megan, Dawn, and Sharon. Cheers. Having my beer. Have a good night, everyone. Love you all. Thanks for tuning in. Keep giving, keep serving, and never, ever stop loving.